Hello there, I'm Josie. I'm a food and eating psychology coach. And for those of you who don't know me, I run online courses, coaching programs, and food and wellbeing retreats, all aimed at helping people to improve their relationship with food. Today, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about emotional eating. When I first started out to study eating psychology, a great deal of my motivation really was fueled by my own need to understand and address my feelings and behaviours around food. I knew that my relationship with food was kind of mostly love-hate, and it was causing me quite a few challenges. Equally, I instinctively knew that there must be a better way to resolve those problems other than dieting. Although I am going to admit I had my fair share of trialling those first. If you've experienced the highs and lows of dieting, and quite often the feelings of failure that come with not being able to achieve the outcomes that you want to achieve, you can end up feeling quite demotivated. And things like addressing relatively simple issues like emotional eating habits can feel like something that you're never going to be able to achieve. But having done the work myself, I can honestly assure you that it is possible. So I'm going to talk you through the 3 steps or the 3 stages that I think are kind of the stages to overcoming emotional eating. So number 1, the first step really is to identify whether indeed it is emotional eating that you're experiencing. When we actually kind of take a step back to observe our eating behaviours, sometimes you might just find that you are genuinely hungry. We lead such busy lives these days and we're spinning so many plates, we can leave long periods of time between eating. So looking at some of those differences between emotional and biological hunger and seeing what applies to you is a really, really good starting point. Number 2, if you do discover that you are experiencing problematic emotional eating, then you can start to look at what's causing those problems by paying attention to what you're thinking and also how you feel about experiencing emotion. So, for example, if you feel ashamed about experiencing negative emotions, it's highly likely that you're going to look to hide from them or to cover them up. The truth is, though, that feelings don't respond to food. They actually respond to self-compassionate, a little bit of mindset work and self-compassion. So that's a good place to start on that. The third step really is that once you've gathered some insight into what's causing you to eat emotionally, you can get to work on changing those habits. And believe it or not, it can actually be quite enjoyable. There are some really effective and engaging techniques around that you can try out. Our brains have an amazing ability to reset and to change according to whatever's going on in our various experiences and what's happening around us. Now, this is a really well-researched thing. It's called neuroplasticity. You've probably heard of it, yeah. And it suggests that our brains evolve over time. So with every repetition of a thought, we reinforce a neural pathway. And with each new thought, we begin to create new ways of thinking. It's quite exciting when you think about it like that, isn't it? With enough practice and repetition, small changes can make a huge difference to your feelings and your behaviour. And this is particularly true of emotional eating. So, if this stuff sounds interesting to you, then as I've kind of said, a great place to start is to identify whether you are an emotional eater. And there are some key signs to look out for in that. I've put together a short guide to that. So to download your guide, if you're watching this on Facebook, I will pop a little link in the post here, or if you're watching this on IGTV or on Instagram, I will pop the link in my bio. So that's a guide to the differences between emotional and physical hunger. If you already recognise that you have problems with emotional eating and you're ready to take some positive action towards overcoming them, then I have an online course that takes you step by step through exactly what I've just been talking to you about. So exactly what you need to do to get free of any habits that might be causing you concern. I'll link to that one too. And if you want to read a bit more about me or learn a bit more about what I do, then I'll pop a link in the bio and in this post to that as well. I'm going to talk a little bit more about emotional eating next week. Next week, I'm going to talk to you about fear of experiencing emotions, because that's a big reason why a lot of us turn to food. So hopefully that's been useful to you. Do download my free guide and I will hopefully catch up with you again next week. See you later.